Imagine this, a quiet morning in 2025. Markets buzzing with routine trades, people sipping their coffee, scrolling through headlines, and suddenly, a piece of news drops that sends shockwaves across financial circles, private chat rooms, and high-security banking networks. Secrets of the Iraqi dinar, long whispered about in corners of speculation, are now breaking through the walls of secrecy. Redemption centers, once dismissed as rumor or fantasy, are being talked about openly. Not in vague terms, but in whispers backed by first-hand accounts, private documents, and financial moves that can no longer be ignored. If you've held on to the dinar, if you've ever wondered whether the stories of hidden exchanges and life-changing revaluations were real, this is the moment that grips your attention. Stay with me, because what you're about to hear could change the way you look at global finance, and maybe even your own future. The story of the Iraqi dinar is not just about currency. It is about war and rebuilding, power and secrecy, and ordinary people waiting for extraordinary outcomes. To understand why redemption centers in 2025 are making headlines, we need to rewind. Back in 2003, after the fall of Saddam Hussein, Iraq's entire monetary system was overhauled. The old Saddam notes were replaced, and the new dinar emerged, printed with advanced security features, colorful and crisp, symbolizing a fresh start. Yet, in the rubble of war, confidence in the new currency never fully took root. Inflation, corruption, instability, all these factors suppressed its value on the global stage. While the official exchange rate hovered in narrow bands, rumors of a future revaluation began spreading. Could the Iraqi dinar one day skyrocket in value, creating overnight millionaires? By the late 2000s, a global wave of speculation began. Veterans returning from Iraq brought dinar notes home. Small investors in the United States, Canada, Europe, and even Asia started buying bundles of dinar as part of currency speculation packages. It was sold as the opportunity of a lifetime. Brokers promised, "One day this will revalue. Hold on, and you'll see your $100 turn into thousands." For some, it was a scam. For others, a dream. Yet the whispers never went away. Year after year, rumors persisted. Redemption centers exist. Secret groups are exchanging at high rates. The day of the global revaluation is near. Governments dismissed it as fantasy. Economists rolled their eyes. But in 2025, the walls of denial have cracked. Picture this scene. A nondescript building, heavily guarded, with tinted windows and tight security at the door. People don't just walk in. They arrive by invitation. Their names are checked against lists. Their identities verified through biometric scans. Inside, crisp bank counters line the walls, but these are not ordinary bank tellers. They are specialized financial officers, trained to handle currency redemptions under strict confidentiality. The air is quiet, serious, intense. On the tables lie thick bundles of Iraqi dinar, carefully counted under ultraviolet lights to confirm authenticity. Then, a moment of tension. The announcement of the exchange rate. Not the rate you see on public forex boards, not the rate the Central Bank of Iraq lists on its website, but a figure many times higher. Life-changing numbers, and then contracts are signed, non-disclosure agreements enforced, and within hours, accounts are credited. The individuals leave transformed. This is the reality of redemption centers. Why the secrecy? Because if this were open to everyone, the consequences could be catastrophic. Imagine millions rushing to exchange at once, flooding the market, creating hyperinflation in Iraq, destabilizing global banks, and crashing other currencies. Redemption centers act as controlled valves, releasing liquidity in small, manageable streams. Governments, international financial institutions, and powerful allies dictate who goes first, who waits, and under what terms. It's not just finance, it's geopolitics. For Iraq, this process is a double-edged sword. On one hand, it allows the country to carefully rebuild confidence in its currency, attract foreign investors, and stabilize its reserves. On the other hand, it breeds resentment among ordinary Iraqis. They hear rumors of foreigners exchanging dinar at high rates while their daily lives remain unchanged. Infrastructure projects still face delays, unemployment remains high, and inflation erodes salaries. Why? They ask. Should outsiders profit while we, the people who lived through the war, still struggle? This tension is part of what makes the redemption centers so controversial. In the United States, the issue takes on another layer. Many veterans who served in Iraq held on to their dinar as keepsakes, but also as a gamble. By 2025, whispers grew louder. Some of them were receiving invitations. Carefully coded emails or discreet phone calls instructed them to show up at designated times with identification and their dinar bundles. The experiences they described sounded like scenes from a spy thriller. Convoys escorting them to secure locations, armed guards at the entrance, hours spent in verification rooms, and finally, the shocking reveal of the exchange rate. Some left in silence, driving home with their lives forever changed, unable to tell even their families the full truth due to confidentiality agreements. This tiered system of redemption has fueled endless speculation. Rumors suggest there are 4 tiers. Tier 1, governments and elite institutions. Tier 2, select investors, high-net-worth individuals, and insiders. Tier 3, private groups often invited through networks. And Tier 4, everyday holders, waiting at the bottom of the pyramid, hoping their turn will come. The most dramatic whispers claim that Tier 1 and Tier 2 exchanges have already happened quietly, at rates far beyond what the public imagines. Whether truth or exaggeration, these stories circulate endlessly in online forums, financial chat rooms, and private investor calls. Meanwhile, Iraq's parliament wrestles with impossible questions. Should they unify the rate and finally end the dual existence of public and private numbers? Should they announce a full-scale revaluation risking global market shock? Or should they continue the slow, secretive rollout through redemption centers, maintaining stability but angering their citizens? The answer is complicated by foreign pressure. The United States wants to maintain dollar dominance, ensuring the dinar's rise does not undermine the petrodollar system. China, meanwhile, has signed infrastructure and oil agreements with Iraq and quietly supports moves that weaken U.S. influence. If Iraq starts conducting oil sales in dinar or yuan, the balance of power shifts. Redemption centers, then, are not just about currency. They are about global dominance. The suspense deepens with real-world examples. In late 2024, reports surfaced of sudden, unexplained purchases of estates in Europe by individuals who had previously struggled financially. When questioned, they offered vague answers. Some investigators linked their wealth to quiet redemptions. In Dubai, high-end hotels became hotspots for whispered meetings, where Tier 2 groups allegedly processed their exchanges. In Washington, closed-door Treasury meetings debated how much liquidity could be released without shaking the system. All these scenes play out like a thriller, each more dramatic than the last. For the average dinar holder, the situation is maddening. On one hand, the official exchange rate barely moves, hovering where it has for years. On the other, rumors of high-value redemptions create waves of hope and despair. Financial influencers online feed the frenzy, some mixing fact with fiction, others spreading outright scams. Yet the persistence of these stories, their sheer consistency over time, suggests there is fire behind the smoke. The question is not whether redemption centers exist, but how far their influence reaches. By mid-2025, it becomes clear that redemption centers are not just temporary measures, they are part of a long-term strategy. They allow Iraq and its allies to control the rollout of wealth, to direct funds where they are needed most, to prevent chaos. They also act as a geopolitical tool, rewarding those who align with certain policies while leaving others waiting. The secrecy is both practical and strategic. And in this world, information is the most valuable currency of all. As the months pass, more confirmations slip into public view. A veteran in Texas suddenly debt-free. A retired teacher in Canada quietly moving into a luxury home. A businessman in London launching a massive project with no clear source of capital. All tied, according to whispers, to redemption center exchanges. Each story adds weight to the narrative, making it harder to dismiss as myth. But there is a darker side. For every person who successfully redeems, hundreds or thousands remain in limbo, waiting for their turn. Some fall victim to scams, tricked into handing over their dinar to fraudulent brokers. Others grow disillusioned, convinced the entire process is a hoax. The truth lies in the middle. Redemption centers are real, but they are not for everyone. Access is controlled, selective, and deeply tied to networks of power. And so as we stand in 2025, the Iraqi dinar remains one of the most extraordinary financial stories of our time. Born in the chaos of war, dismissed as worthless, held onto by dreamers, veterans, and speculators, it now sits at the heart of a global drama involving redemption centers, secret tiers, and geopolitical rivalries. For those inside the walls of the centers, lives are changing. For those outside, the wait continues. And for the world at large, the dinar represents a truth about modern finance, that wealth, power, and opportunity are rarely distributed equally. The final image to leave with you is stark and unforgettable. Somewhere tonight, in a heavily guarded building with no signs, another group is gathering. Their names are checked, their notes authenticated. They sit in silence as the rate is revealed. Contracts are signed, agreements sealed. And when they leave, they vanish into the night, their lives transformed, their voices silenced by confidentiality. The redemption centers remain hidden, but their impact is spreading, shaping not just the future of Iraq, but the balance of global power. And as you watch this unfold, remember, the secrets of the Iraqi dinar are no longer whispers. They are breaking into the open, one exchange at a time.